Welcome to Down with Joe DeRosa. This is a very special episode. I am recording currently and broadcasting currently live from the SiriusXM studios, the notorious Opie and Anthony studio room, now the Opie and Jim Norton studio room. And we're doing a show from here with two of my favorite guys in the world. And I apologize, I usually have a little intro that addresses the topic we're going to talk about, but we did this very last minute today.
Yeah, if you want, you could take what we just talked about before.
Sam, I don't let the guests until I intro them, so just hold on a second. I usually write a little, sort of editorial diatribe on what we're going to be talking about. The subject today is sensitivity, and my guests, if I may, two of the staffers here from the radio show, Sam Roberts and Roland Campos. Thank you for being here, guys.
We had no choice.
Thank you for having us.
Don't be a shit, Roland. You said you wanted to be on this thing, and now you're here, and thank you for being here.
Oh, yes. You're welcome.
Stop it. Don't do it. We had a nice lunch the other day, and you told me you were looking forward to doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, always going for the laugh.
Always.
All right, Sam. It's going to be you and me.
Well, I think we should include Roland, but Roland...
I was energized yesterday because I had good food in me.
Roland will be included when he acts like he wants to be included, and not until.
Because he's showing off
this
right now.
This show will not be a platform for him to show off.
Good.
Okay?
Good.
Anyway, we're going to talk sensitivity today. Sensitivity in men, probably more so than sensitivity otherwise. And I will start off by saying this outright. I'm a very sensitive man. Yeah. I would go as far as to say, Sam, I'm a little pussy. I'm a little bit of a pussy. Yeah. I cry a lot at movies. I get my feelings hurt easily. I get bitchy.
Do you?
I get bitchy. Especially if I'm hungry.
Like you get cranky and bitchy?
Oh, I get real cranky if I'm hungry. Yeah, you don't get cranky if you're hungry?
I mean, I guess, but I don't take it out on people. I just go get something to eat.
But you don't get, I mean, not taking it out on people, but if, like, let's say you and I were hanging out and you were hungry and I said, Sam, could you turn your ringer off on your phone? It keeps annoying me. You might, instead of going, sure, you might go, oh, big deal.
Well, I'd say
you know what I mean? That's cranky.
Yeah, I guess, but it's bitchy to even say, could you turn your ringer off?
Well, I'm doing that because I'm hungry.
Right. I'd go I'd probably say, stop being bitchy.
Yeah.
We're all hungry. Like, relax.
See? And then that's bitchy.
No, it's not. It's just
look at the face
you're
making. You're shaking your head. Yeah, it is.
Because it's not, because it's responding to bitchiness.
Yeah. It's,
like, to even say, I wish you would turn your cell phone down. I don't like that your ringer's on. It's like, what? Fuck off.
No, I'm a massive bitch when I'm hungry.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine. You're a bitch when you're not hungry.
Yeah, just do your podcast.
Do you want to join in now? Do you want to play nice?
Yes.
Roland couldn't be a bigger example of sensitivity. Like, he's just... everything is sensitive.
Pussy.
Yeah.
And I get very angry.
But
I'll unleash my powers on people.
My favorite thing you do, Roland, is as a sensitive man, and I'm not saying that as an insult. I am a sensitive man. My favorite thing you do as a sensitive man is that if Roland is not in the mood and you go at him, he'll go... Yeah. It makes that cat noise, and that always makes me laugh really hard.
That noise is the noise that he makes if he... Because Roland, he's very, very bitchy. And he likes to pretend he has some kind of power over people. Mm-hmm. And so he'll start thinking and naming things he can do that he thinks is going to fuck you over if all you've done is like, Roland, that shirt doesn't fit right. Oh, yeah, well, we'll see next time you... I
know, Roland will go right for the throat, too.
Immediately.
We were talking about the other day, the one time on the show when Voss's dog had died, and Roland... and Voss were on the air, and Voss made a crack at Roland, and Roland goes, here's two... You say it.
I said, here, boy.
No, you said, here are 2 words you'll never be able to say ever again.
Here, boy.
Here, boy.
Which is like the worst, because even a non-sensitive guy, when a dog dies, it's terrible.
Well, now we're on to something interesting here, because this is what I find fascinating about many sensitive people. As delicate as we can be, and as easily as our feelings get hurt, we're also people that really go for the throat when somebody hurts us. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that is always a byproduct of being a sensitive person. You say to yourself, why are they talking to me like that? That's offensive. I wouldn't do that to them. And then you really, it's like being a child. You hit. You hit because you're hurt.
Yeah, that's that emotional thing. Like when you're in an argument with a woman.
Right.
And she's trying to hurt you, or she's trying to come up with every reason that's ever been hurtful or whatever, as opposed to being logical about things.
I fight, and I don't mean to sound sexist, ladies, but I fight like a woman.
Right.
You know? And I don't mean physically, like pulling hair. I mean like in an argument, I fight like a woman. I do emotionally. I'll bring up old stuff.
It's like that's not even what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll be like, when I watch that movie, The Breakup, and they have the fight at the beginning, and she's like, and he's like, fine, I'll help you do the dishes. And she's like, you know what, don't. And then he goes, why? And she goes, because it's not about you helping me. I want you to want to help me do the dishes. And he goes, why would I want to ever do dishes? I totally agree with her.
But
I side with her 100% in that moment.
But he's playing a video game at the time, though.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. I get angry during that scene at how shitty he's being towards her. But that's because I am very female-minded when it comes to an argument.
You don't think you'd be shitty?
I probably have been at times.
Right.
Okay, but I have been like when I watch The Odd Couple, I side with Felix in all the arguments.
Right.
Or, I'm sorry, with with Felix. Yeah, like when he gets mad at Oscar for coming home an hour late, and he's going, why don't you start by telling me why you came in at 8 o'clock when you told me you'd be here at 7 o'clock? And Walter Matthau goes, I got to write this down. Nobody's going to believe this argument's happening. I've been in arguments with men that have said that to me, that have been like, what the fuck? Are you my fucking wife? What are you doing?
Would you ever think to yourself, I got to stop doing that? Like, do you ever?
No, because I'm me.
But you
hey world. This is who I am.
You're just letting your freak flag fly.
I'm just saying that right now because I'm hungry. I'm really hungry right now.
But you don't look at the way you argue as... because it's not a good way to argue. Anybody who argues emotionally...
But women would say it was.
Yeah, I know, but women lose arguments all the time. Like, I drive my wife crazy because I'm not an emotional arguer.
Also, here's the weird part about me, and I don't know if this applies to any other sensitive folks out there. I'll be very sensitive in certain arguments when I feel hurt, but I'll also be extremely logical in other arguments. My mom, when I was growing up, used to say to me, you should have been a lawyer. You should have been a lawyer. Because I'm very good at collecting data and being very like, duh.
So in what context would you be logical in?
What do you mean, what context?
Because if you're hurt, or if you're arguing...
If I'm not hurt.
So if you're just arguing for the sake of arguing?
No, I mean, not every argument is because you're hurt. Sometimes you just don't agree with somebody.
Oh, so if you're like arguing about a movie, or you're arguing about something trivial.
I get sensitive if somebody disrespects me in front of other people, or somebody does something where I feel like they've betrayed my loyalty. That's when I get sensitive and I get hurt. And then what I'll do a lot of the time is I won't say anything. And then it'll happen again, and I won't say anything again. Then the third time, I explode.
That's what I do.
So it's all emotional, right? Yeah.
How does it build up?
And here's what pisses me off about it, Roland.
It's nice.
Here's what pisses me off is when you do that, right? Somebody will go, you're bringing up old shit. You're bringing up, and it's like, to me, there's a big difference between bringing up old shit and supporting your argument. If you had to present a legal case that was trying to prove someone's guilt, you're not just bringing up what's happening in that moment. You build evidence from several different incidents.
But if it's all shit that you've dealt with.
Yeah, but if you haven't dealt with it, it's like, hey, we were at the supermarket last week, and you said this, and you know what? It's fucking with me. Sometimes people go, why are you bringing up old shit that's over and done? It's like, it's not over and done.
Right.
I didn't know it bothered me as much as it did till now, and now I'm bringing it up. And I'm bringing it up. I'm not walking around pissed off about it. I'm bringing it up to say, I'm telling you that this is my claim in the argument. I'm saying you're this type of person, and then here now I have to support that. How else can you support the argument?
You must be exhausting to be friends with.
I can be tiresome. I'm not going to lie to you. I can be.
Yeah,
it can be. But there's a sweet payoff.
What's that?
I mean, you're going to get a lifelong friend out of me, man.
Because of the loyalty.
I'll be there for you.
Because you're a loyal guy. Because that's why you get so hurt when people betray your trust.
You call me. You call me. You need a shoulder to cry on. You need a pick me up speech.
You'll do that.
You need advice. I'm your guy, dude.
Yeah?
I'm your guy.
You're just supportive.
There's not a doubt in my mind. That's one of the few things I can say confidently about myself.
Yeah.
You call me with a problem, I'm going to give you advice. You're going to every time one of my friends calls me, like bummed out or distraught about something, by the end of the conversation, which is always 90 minutes long, because I get into it with them,
right?
They hang up going, dude, I feel way better about this, man. Thank you so much.
That's the positive side of being sensitive and emotional.
Exactly.
That's the other half of being bitchy.
Exactly. You take the good with the bad. It's like being...
You take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Joe DeRosa, the facts of life.
It's like being friends with a sensitive person. You know, it has its assets and its detriments, and it's just like being friends with like a bruiser tough guy. Mm-hmm. You know, when that guy gets angry at you and wants to start shoving, you're like, fuck this guy. But when you're in a bar and somebody looks at you cockeyed and this guy jumps in front of you and goes, hey, you motherfucker, you're like, I love this guy. Right. This is the great. So you take the good with the bad.
I like being friends with just like assholes who just make fun of their friends and then go home, and that's what they do, and there's nothing more to it. You just go, you laugh, you
love
have
that
fun,
too. I have
leave.
friends like that. Yeah. I also know my boundaries with different friends. I don't act that way with all my friends.
So you don't want to be more logical. You don't want to stop yourself from arguing from a place of hurt. You don't want to correct that behavior.
Look, I've tried to improve upon it in the sense that, I know sometimes it's shitty, so I try to alleviate the shitty aspects of it. But I don't think it's a wrong thing to do in every case.
But do you know when you're doing it? Like, do you know when you're hungry and like, oh, I'm being shitty now?
The hungry one I don't even realize until I'm doing it, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm hungry.
Right.
I have to.
And then do you apologize?
It's not even, I rarely argue with people when I'm hungry. It's way more like we'll be in the car and I'll be like, the fuck is this guy in front of us doing? Fucking move!
Yeah, see, that's the levels of stress you don't need.
I'll be flipping out. Yeah, that's why I'll have cancer and die.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get you.
Because I didn't eat 5 meals a day. I didn't eat frequently enough or whatever. But like at the beginning of the show.
Right.
I'm starving right now.
Right.
Remember there was a time we got breakfast in here.
You could have ordered.
Doesn't matter.
Those were the old days.
Listen, back when a guy would come in and offer you breakfast.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. Now he just insults your podcast.
Yeah. All I got was a cup of coffee that was made out of 2 Keurig fucking packets. Ugh.
Times are tough.
Jesus Christ.
Roland, don't you want to improve yourself? Because I'm not sensitive on the level of either of you two. I don't get into bitchy arguments. I try not to be terribly cranky. I'm fairly even keeled. I don't get it
all the time.
At the beginning, I'm hungry right now. At the beginning of the show, when Roland was doing the shtick, I had 0 tolerance for it.
You were really upset
because I'm hungry and I'm just like, no, I'm not fucking doing. Like I got right into it. I'm not fucking doing this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like because I'm hungry. That's like my hungry, shitty bitchiness.
You should tell me I'm hungry. I got you food.
Well, maybe you offer. It's like being over somebody's house for 10 hours and you got to go, can I have something to eat?
But you've been over to the house so many times, you're like family, so you should ask.
Yeah,
I'd like something to eat right now. Can we make it happen right now?
Yeah.
What about Roland's your guest on the podcast?
Yeah, just tell him Eric will send an intro now.
Eric, I'd like a fruit cup and some bacon, please.
That's like halfway through you're like, I'm going to eat well, and then halfway through you give up and some bacon.
Turkey bacon. Fuck. Turkey bacon.
That's even worse than regular bacon.
You know what, Eric? Fruit cup and some eggs. Forget the bacon. Some scrambled eggs and a fruit cup. No butter in those eggs.
You buckled to peer pressure quick.
Well, I felt bad.
Throw bacon in the eggs.
No, I don't.
It's delicious.
No, I know it's delicious, but you can't do everything that's delicious all the time.
Are you satisfied with your level of emotion and sensitivity? Don't you think that you might be a little too sensitive?
Do you fucking believe this?
Wow.
You sent an intern in here to ask me for money?
That's Eric.
Is that a bit, Eric?
Everybody's trying to put one over on old Joey D. Every time you come here.
That's the role I play on this show.
They're always
Wait a minute, this is my show! What's happening?
Wait. They're trying to put one over on you every time.
Black coffee.
It's not a right thing.
I don't need a black coffee.
Are you done? Okay.
No, just the eggs and the fruit. Thank you, darling. Huh? Scrambled eggs, sweetie. No, is that sexist? Sorry.
No.
Was that sexist? I said sweetie?
Yeah.
I don't mean it like in a waitress way. I meant it like in an endearing, like, you're a nice kid.
Take control, Joe. Your show is falling apart.
It's not falling apart.
You're right.
It's I did like when you took the lead and started interviewing Roland. Roland, now do you find yourself happy with
listen, go fuck yourself.
This is Roland's sensitivity. You can't even start to ask Roland about any possible flaws or things that he could improve upon without him going, fuck you.
Here's what I don't like about Roland.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't like about Roland. I love Roland.
But tell me what you don't like.
What I don't like is I never jump on opportunities to make fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
Almost never. The one time when I recorded you secretly when you were snoring.
But literally everybody here has done that.
That was hurtful, but
it was gold. It was golden. And I knew
it's my livelihood, man.
And I didn't see what you're doing. You see what you're doing? See what it, for the O&A listeners right now. You know what Roland's referring to. Mm-hmm. For my podcast listeners that might get this later on the internet, Owen, I was calling you Owen. Roland is making fun of an incident where Troy and I had an argument on the show, and I said Troy's messing with my livelihood by saying I'm not funny.
Maybe a time in your life where you were a bit too sensitive.
Yeah, I was a bit too sensitive. You know, it was just my mom was going through cancer.
We knew that at
no
the time.
Big deal. No, everybody knew because I announced it.
I don't think Troy knew. Did he?
No, I'm not. I'm making. This is directed at Roland.
You're right.
Troy and I are old chums at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
Yeah. Why are you bringing up old shit, Roland? My point is, I never take a chance to make fun of Roland.
Right. And he takes every chance.
And he takes every chance. I could have. I ate lunch with Roland the other day. He picked up his ice. He was eating a bowl of pasta fazool. The only time I've ever seen a man order that soup in public that didn't live in Naples. Picks up his iced coffee. It spills all into the soup. He doesn't even notice it. I go, Roland, you just spilled your coffee on your soup. He goes, it's flavor. And just kept eating it. That's what he said.
You ate the soup after you spilled your iced coffee?
It made it that much more delicious.
You are a disaster.
And then you had that big chunk of food on your cheek
for later.
He's a messy
eater. I was just like, hey, buddy, do that.
Yeah, he did.
I could have just let you walk around all day with the fucking food on your face.
You did that twice with me.
See, this is sensitivity. You see how upset I am right now? Because I feel like you fucking turned your back on me today because you told me you wanted to do my podcast, and as soon as you came on, you were being a jerk.
So, Roland, how come you don't have the opposite side of this? So Joe is saying that he has the bitchy part of the sensitivity that goes with the I'll uplift you. The same way a woman might. Mm-hmm. Like, just will relate to you, and I'll talk to you, and I'll be a shoulder to cry on. You have the bitchy part, and the venomous, and the hateful part, but not the shoulder to cry on part, because when you're in a good mood, you just make fun of people.
It's part of life. I've been shunned so much, I was like, after a while, you're like, who cares? It's part of the job. I swallow so much shit, then I just become venomous.
It's not.
And pizza.
And pizza. How good was the pizza, though?
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. I like the meatballs better.
Yeah, the meatballs are delicious.
The meatballs were the highlight of the meal. That horrendous sandwich you made us get. I mean, I really would like to slap your face. They had so many delicious sandwiches on the menu of this place. Chicago beef. What is that noise?
It's the phone. Who's there?
What noise? It's me, Lady Di.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Can you
How you doing? Hi, Joe.
Hi, lady.
How's everything?
Good.
I'd like to ask Sam a question.
Please, Lady Di, introduce yourself to the audience of my podcast that doesn't know who you are, please.
Lady Di, also known as Diana. That's my name.
And
what's your connection to all of us? Why are you crying?
Who's crying?
Sam is literally crying right now. He's laughing so hard he's crying.
Oh, okay. No.
What's the context?
Lady, introduce yourself. My podcast audience doesn't know who you are, so tell them who you are, what your connection is to this show.
I'm Lady Di, okay? And I am a character of the Opie and I guess it's called Jim Norton show now. You know.
Where do they know you from? Who you and your friend are?
The retarded Laverne and Shirley.
What's that mean?
Marion and I are known as the retarded Laverne and Shirley. as known as being the retarded Laverne.
But why though? Why?
Because I used to work at a brewery. That's why.
And the first part.
And well, I used to work.
L's on your sweaters.
What?
Do you have what? Do you not get that reference? Do you have L's embroidered?
On my sweater.
Do you have L's embroidered on your sweaters? I'm too hungry for this right now. Come on.
All right, no. It's I'm just known as one half of the retarded Laverne Shelley. Really, seriously.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about?
I needed to ask you a question. Were they live today in Montreal? Are they live? I don't know.
Fucking hang up on her, please.
All right.
We're talking about sensitivity.
Lady Di is hung up on.
Let's wait to take calls. Hold on.
Okay,
I don't want
right.
to take them yet. How much in the last 15 minutes I want to take calls.
Okay.
How far are we from that?
We probably got another 15 before 15.
Okay. I want to keep talking about this. So, Roland.
Yes.
This is interesting. Sam brings up a good point, and you didn't quite answer it. Why do you not have the other side of I mean, but you do, Sam. You're saying he doesn't have the other side of sensitivity, which is the reactionary, defensive, No,
he doesn't have the good part.
Oh.
He doesn't have the shoulder to cry on part.
I do for some people, but not for everybody.
He does.
Not for everybody.
But he'll turn on you in a dime.
He will, but that's just... That's Roland's sense of humor. Needs a little work. It's fine. But listen, Roland has been there for me in many times. I'm not just saying that. Many times when my mom was sick and I came up to do the show, Roland was like, "You can stay with me, sleep on my." He actually gave me his bed, and he took the couch. I've called him where he said, like, let me see what I can do. He's helped me out a lot. Like, we've had some pretty hard heart-to-hearts, Now, maybe you haven't had those with him, so maybe that's something you need to examine about yourself.
That's not me, because I also know that he'll turn on a dime, so I'm not going to have a heart-to-heart with somebody who's going to turn on a dime.
You're a piece of shit, but Joe, I love.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then a minute ago, you were like, I'm not going to go do Joe's podcast.
I'm just joking with Joe. Joe knows that.
Yeah, it did bother me a little bit, though. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think Sam is more sensitive than he lets on to be, because I think he's got a hard shell. He's hiding something. There's a little scared boy inside there.
What am I scared of, do you think?
I don't know. Love.
I have love, though.
Commitment, adventure.
What are you talking about? I'm married.
So you're afraid you might fall and there won't be anyone there to catch you. How's your marriage going? Now,
Right.
In the marriage, do you find that you need to be more sensitive with your wife or less?
Probably more. As in, less direct. I'm very honest, direct. Problem, here's the solution. As opposed to just being empathetic.
Okay.
And let's, just talk about this problem. As opposed to, okay, you presented me with a problem, here's the solution I see.
Okay. Well, what problems is that? Give me an example, though, of like when that has created a problem for you in the marriage.
Well, it's more has to do with a lot of times women, and I guess sensitive people in general, don't want to hear a solution to the problem immediately. Like, they're not coming to you and explaining, here's what's wrong, to say, well, here's what you got to do then. Mm-hmm. They just want to be able to talk about it and get it off their chest, which is foreign to me.
Okay.
But that's something that I'm learning how to do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, say she's got a problem, simple. Say she's got a problem at work. This coworker of mine, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, here's what you have to do. You have to do this and this, and just, forget about the rest of it. And she's like, why are you just telling me to forget about the rest of it? Just listen to what I'm saying and just be there to listen.
Well, yeah, that is a thing that I notice is much more common with women than it is with men, which is they don't want the advice. They just want you to listen.
Right.
And that's a trait that I find I have a lot of the time.
That's the sensitivity.
I'll often start off, if I'm going to bitch about something, I will start off with, listen, I don't need advice. I just need to vent to you about this right now. And see, that's the mistake that women make a lot of the time, is they won't say that part of it. As a guy, I'm very aware you need to say that part of it, because I've had enough women yell at me because stop talking to me like I'm an idiot.
Yes.
I didn't ask for advice. I just need to complain. Can't I just complain? So I learned, like, okay, you got to say, I just want to vent.
Right, or you have to just sit there and go like, okay. Like sometimes you just have to sit there and go, okay. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that's awful.
Right.
Sometimes that's all that a person wants.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think I would be in a situation where I'd be talking to somebody and I would want to hear that back.
You don't think you'd ever be in a situation where you just want to kind of rail off about something for a while? You just want to kind of...
I don't think so.
Get it out of your system, get something off your chest?
I guess not. That's not me. If I present something, I want somebody to give me at least their take on it. I like hearing people's different... I like presenting things to people so I can hear different opinions on something that I might be dealing with.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Sometimes you want advice. That's advice.
Right.
Sometimes you don't want advice. Sometimes you know... Like, okay, for instance, let's say you got a... let's say you have some kind of dynamic with somebody, whether it's a coworker or a friend or whatever, and you're consistently getting into the same annoying, scuffles with this person. There's a party. You might be in that headspace of saying like, okay, I know how to handle this. I know I'm not supposed to let it bother me. I know I can't let this person see that it bothers me because then I'm just feeding their bullshit, and then they're just gonna, it's gonna fuel them to just keep treating me like this, and they really enjoy getting the best of me and seeing me sweat and blah 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 blah. So I know how I have to act in the situation with that person. And I know what I have to do. However, it doesn't mean that it still doesn't infuriate me. And I need to call my buddy up when I get out of work today and just scream about it.
I know exactly.
I just gotta get, it's like hitting the punching bag.
Right. See, with me, if I'm in a situation where I go, okay, this shouldn't bother me, and I can't let this person know that it bothers me, I have to get myself, and it takes a long time. And you have to do a lot of sort of figuring out stuff in your head. But I have to get myself to the point where it legitimately doesn't bother me.
Right.
Or it bothers me considerably less.
Okay.
And that doesn't happen, I don't think, for me, by talking it out with somebody. That happens with more like just self-examination. Why shouldn't this bother me? Why did it bother me? How can I look at it differently? How can I truly blow that off? I think that's where I'm at. That's how I deal with stuff. You just really break it down.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there is something to be said, like, okay, I'm not handling this situation properly if I have to go vent about it.
Right.
The way to properly handle it is for me to be in the place where I don't truly care about it, and then that's, what I mean?
I think people should just be just constantly trying to improve themselves so that they don't end up in these situations.
That's the toughest part about being a sensitive person. It becomes hard to improve upon yourself. Because
what? You think you don't need to improve? Oh,
no, it becomes hard to.
Gotcha. So you need to.
Oh, you thought I was saying I'm perfect?
Right, like I'm already sensitive.
Yeah,
so
I'm
why
good.
would
I don't need anything.
Why would I need to improve upon this?
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
He really is a sensitive guy, huh?
Thank you. Roland, what do you think caused you to be sensitive?
I don't know. Probably just probably starting school being picked on first day. It went downhill from there.
Were you always picked on?
Yeah.
For what?
Everything.
Tell me about it.
When you have this voice already, picture that a younger person with a higher pitch.
Right.
You sound like Mickey Mouse all the time.
And a mustache, correct?
And a mustache, and then when your teacher goes, look, you look kids, and they go, say hi boys and girls. I went, hi boys and then I realized what he was doing. I was like, fuck me.
Your teacher did it to you?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, seriously.
What the fuck kind of school did you go to that the teacher did that?
Shitty private school. Then my mom we left after the first year.
So what would the kids say to you? What was their insult?
Anything from like mustache jokes and Disneyland jokes and all that.
Disneyland? Oh, because of Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, I mean, my voice, they go, say hi boys and girls, 'cause my voice really went high and cracked a lot.
What are mustache jokes?
Just it picked on me, just making fun of me. Like, because when you're a kid, you're supposed to be so hairy. I was like fucking like.
I mean, he brings up a great point, Joe.
I had like hair in my chest. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like a little mini Mexican guy already, like a little Juan Valdez.
I don't picture you being hairy now, though.
Trust me, it was bad as a kid.
We once went to we saw Bert Kreischer. Have you done Levity Live at the Palisades? We saw Bert Kreischer there, and he brought Roland backstage and shaved his back because he had no idea how hairy Roland was. Roland's a guy with a lot of body hair.
How hairy is your back?
It gets there. It's like a
True or false, Roland? You shave your T-shirt line.
False. No, I don't mean to, but due to my awful shaving skills, it becomes a...
Oh, so you mean like when you're shaving your beard, because it just goes from your upper lip down to your chest.
Yeah, so you just clean up everything, then you realize, I shaved my t-shirt line.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, so... now, when you were a kid, was it upsetting to you to get, like, how quickly did you build up the defense mechanism? I'm going to get venomous now, you know?
When I first did it, and then people went, whoa. I was like, oh, that's how you push people back.
But don't you think
it builds up throughout the years?
Isn't that a less effective defense mechanism than just honestly having those people not bother you?
Well, but they're not going to not bother you.
But
what do you mean?
Like, I mean, working on it to the point where you're like, I shouldn't be bothered by that.
I thought you mean that they, like, don't literally bother you.
Oh, no. I mean, like, if there's, like, massive amounts of kids, and it's harder to do when you're a kid, but if there's a lot of people picking on you, that's one thing. But if there's, like, a couple of guys...
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's having the defense... It's having the arsenal to protect yourself and going, like, okay, you're fucking with me, here's how I deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then not caring.
Right.
Like, dumb example, you know, like today, like this is a dumb example. We, you know, earlier today we did the Opie and Jimmy show. You know, like Colin called in and we're friends.
Right.
And he made fun of me about the Seinfeld tweet. We were talking about how Seinfeld retweeted new material Seinfeld. And I said I didn't understand why our handles were both being mentioned in the same tweets, and I didn't know what was happening. And then I realized it was because Seinfeld had tweeted about new material Seinfeld. And Colin called in, was making fun of me and being like, what else would he have tweeted about, stupid, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, my point is like, there was a time before I was friendly I mean, it's not even the fact that I'm friendly with Colin. There was a time when something like that would have really upset me. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't, A, know how to handle it. I would have taken it, B, way too personally. And then C, it would have bothered me forever afterward. You know what I mean? I would have taken it as a full personal judgment.
And a lot of that is your own insecurities, that you don't feel like you should be tweeted by Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, that, and it's like, why is this guy, Colin, that I think I'm friends with, making fun of me?
Right.
What's he saying about my career? You know what I mean? I would just go into all this crazy shit. Does he not respect me? And it's nuts. It's like, it's egomaniacal, really.
That quest for respect and loyalty is big for you.
Yeah, and it's like you're sitting there thinking people that said the thing put all this work into it, and it's like they didn't. It's just a passing joke.
Yeah.
So, like, I am grateful to be in a headspace today where a friend of mine can make a joke like that, and I can laugh about it. And this is where I say it's half and half. A, you laugh about it because it's not bothering you. Mm-hmm. And then B, you make fun of them back. And that's
so you become less of a punching bag.
Yeah, well, yeah, because part of it still has to be how do you defend it. Do you know what I mean? If you just always just kind of shrug it off or laugh it off, it's like, you know, then I think you become like a sap or something.
Right,
know?
Because if it just quote unquote doesn't bother you, but you just don't say anything back, then yeah, you're just going to get smashed all the time, every day.
Yeah, Don Rickles is actually a great example because you'll see, like, he'll fuck with everybody. When somebody gets a good one in on him, he'll go, all right, you know, Gentile 1, Jew 0. Like, he'll make a joke about how he's losing the battle.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong, but, like, I kind of think I noticed recently, like, I think that's maybe part of his technique. Like, when somebody gets a good one in on him, he's like, all right, take the hit. You're making fun of everybody else. Laugh it off, and then sit in the pocket till you have another good slam, and then fucking strike.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's still a technique, you know, to defend yourself. It doesn't bother him, obviously. He's having a good time. It's all in fun. But you still have to defend yourself in some way. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right.
But you don't have to always do it like, I used to be real bad with that. You don't have to be so
defensive. You can be like, okay, well, I can make jokes too.
Exactly, yeah. There's the difference between defending yourself and being defensive.
Yeah.
I used to be really like, as soon as anybody made fun, and that's never funny.
And yeah, because the minute people realize you're being defensive and emotional, it's like, who the fuck is it? Like, we were joking.
I know.
Like, all right, well, we're not gonna hang out with him anymore, or we're gonna ride this motherfucker until he snaps.
I used to always make joking real.
Yeah.
Always, which is why I brought up the Colin example. I wasn't bringing that up like he was in any way being mean. I was bringing it up because, like, there was a time when I made joking real, and I would have made that real.
And it's like, it just isn't.
It's crazy.
It's just people looking to laugh at something. Whatever they can find in the room.
It's just people having fun.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And it's done out of love.
Right.
You know, like that roast, that Friars Club thing of like, we only roast the ones we love. Like, that's true. Like, you fuck with people that you like.
You can tell the difference between fucking with somebody that you like versus really, like, I don't like this person, I'm going to make their life tough now.
Right.
You know, that's a huge difference. And,
truly mean people do that. I mean, I don't know.
But I also think a lot of people outside the world of comedy probably have a tough time figuring out. Like, a lot of athletes strike me as, whenever they're getting their balls busted, oh, that motherfucker is trying to get me. Right. As opposed to, no, he's just having fun. Like, just have fun with him.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a different mentality with athletes because by nature, they're competitive. You have to be.
Right.
That's
but they don't
name
have
of the game.
Right, and they don't have the skill set to match somebody like a comedian in terms of wit, generally speaking.
Well, so. I also think that competition is such an intricate part, or an integral part of their lives that, like, you can't separate from it.
Right.
It's kind of like asking a comedian to not be funny.
Right,
you know?
like, could you stop joking for
once in a while an anomaly like me comes along.
Right.
That's able to just be
able to just sit here for an hour and
just be as
not one joke.
Dry as those eggs I just ate. Yeah, but not everybody's got that kind of skill set,
right,
guys.
Right.
You know?
To just put the comedian away.
But what way? Yeah, it's almost as if the comedian was never there with me.
Right.
It's almost as if the laughs on stage are a fluke. Now, why are you're the opposite of Roland, you're not sensitive.
No.
You know, despite the jokes we're making that you are. Why? Well,
why am I not sensitive?
Yeah, like, well, you know what? Did you have an older brother that kind of beat it out of you, or what?
I don't think so. I didn't have an older brother. I had a younger brother and an older sister. But I don't know. I mean, you know, from growing up, I guess I got picked on somewhat, but then I figured out how to make fun of people pretty well myself. So it wasn't like people didn't pick on me that much because I would make jokes too.
But isn't that just a variation of what Roland said?
I guess I feel like it's more like, because it wasn't so much I was doing it because it bothered me. It's more the competitiveness, I think.
So you have more of the athlete's brain.
Yeah, just not even sort of the body. I mean, it couldn't be further.
You have more of the athlete's brain. Roland has more of the comedian's brain, which I have. Every comedian says the same thing. Why are you funny? Well, I got funny because everybody made fun of me, and I had to defend myself.
Yeah,
that starts from a place of hurt.
I mean, maybe if you dig deep enough, it did start from a place of hurt for me. I don't know.
It might not. So I think the athlete's brain is straight up competitive.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's going to try to win, but I need to win.
Yeah, I can do better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would never think that. What you just did, I don't even think that when I'm on stage and I'm killing about. When I'm on stage and I hit a nice applause break, I just want to end the show. If it happens 3 minutes in.
You don't think I can do better than that?
No.
Like, you don't go home after a good show and say, I want to do a better show tomorrow.
No, that was good enough.
Wow.
In fact, I think I'm quite brilliant when I do fine.
What about if you see another comedian on stage killing? Do you think to yourself, good for them? Do you think to yourself, oh, how'd that happen? Or do you think to yourself, I got to do better than that guy?
No, I think, God damn it. I suck.
That's it.
Yeah, it's all inward. It's terrible. So I just now got to a place, well, not just now, but, very recently, like, got to this place where I feel very comfortable enough finally, like, following something, or someone big on the show. Like, it still sucks when you have to do it, but like, but I finally got to a place where I'm like comfortable enough to go on and deal with it afterwards and hold my own, whatever. But like, I mean, I couldn't, maybe that just comes with the time that I'm in right now. But like, I mean, I used to just, anybody killing in front of me, I hated it. I was just like, no, please bomb. I wanted people to bomb in front of me.
And none of that had to do with competition. It was just insecurity.
Only insecurity. only insecurity, failure, and misery loves company.
See,
I thought I can at least, if even, because there's no way to lose. If somebody bombs in front of you, there's no way to lose. If you fail as also, then you're just like the other guy. You're part of the pack. And if you do well, then you're special that night.
See, okay, I see exactly what you're saying. But see,
it's terrible.
I would see somebody doing well, and I wouldn't be happy they were doing well, but it would be because, all right, now how the fuck am I going to do better than them?
Right.
That would be my mentality.
No, doing better than anybody is never a part of my
That's interesting.
thing. I just want to be as good as the other people did.
Are you competitive, Roland?
Yeah.
You are, right?
Yeah, it's just like when I was working and then got laid off, and my boss signed my contract for a year. People wanted me, but I couldn't work. But then I started fucking with my mind, like, am I good anymore? Do I suck?
Right.
I must suck.
Right.
Nobody wants me anymore.
Right.
Interesting.
And then you started a downward spiral.
Uh-huh.
Where you're like, why am I even bothering to apply anymore or do this?
Yeah.
And I fucked with you all day long, 24/7.
I go through it all the time.
Yeah.
I the second I'm off stage, I'm just like, I fucking suck.
Well, that's why I believe in that cyberbullying is such a bad thing, because all of us have to deal with our own little people on the internet convincing us that we're terrible. So imagine having to do that when you're a kid.
I can't even imagine. It would be very, very, very tough. I mean, it's, like the other night I did a show and there was a woman there from Comedy Central who I'd never met. And she came up to me and Ari, I guess she was there to see Ari Shaffir. And she came up and we were...
Okay, so when you see a woman from Comedy Central is in the audience, do you think to yourself, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I have the best set of the night?
No, I didn't even know she was there.
But if you had?
Nope. No, I mean, I would try to do my best.
But you wouldn't do better than everybody else.
No, maybe this is my problem. Maybe the whole time I should have been trying to kill the hardest.
Yeah. I would sit there, if I knew somebody from any sort of television was in the audience, I couldn't guarantee that I would do it, but I would do everything in my power to make sure that I had the best set of the night. And it's probably healthier, by the way, to compare yourself to yourself like you do. Just do your best.
The road of second guessing that I would go down, and even trying to do, let's say I said, okay, I want to go on, I want to kill the hardest. Mm-hmm. Then I'd go, okay, what material kills the hardest? And then I'd go, see, you're changing your material. Just be you. It's better to bomb as you than kill as somebody else. No, that's dumb. No, why am I doing this? I have clean material. It's all me. It's all my stuff. Well, I'll go up and do this stuff because it's clean and it works. And it's oh yeah, you gotta do clean and works. Yeah. Oh yeah, boring. So you can go up there and look like a hack.
Right.
Dude, it is a fucking chorus of self-doubt. And it's like, I'd rather just not even go down that road. I try not to. But she came up to us after the show, and we ended up hanging out for a while. And she said, hey, it's good to meet you. I'm so-and-so from, I said, oh, yeah, okay, good to meet you too. And we were a minute into the conversation. She goes, oh, great set, by the way. And I go, you said that just in time. And she's like, what do you mean? I go, since we've started talking, I've been waiting for you to say that to me. And I go, that's how a comedian's head works. I'm just like, why didn't she say good set? What did I bomb? I thought I had an okay show. And I was like, thank you for saying that within the first minute.
Do you think it's better in terms of not only being a comedian, but being a person, like just developing? Do you think it's better the way you do it, just trying to do your best and not paying attention to everybody else? Or the way my mind works, which is see what everybody else is doing and make sure you're better than them?
I mean, both have, there are pros and cons to both. It's like, I think your mindset is good because it'll cause you to tunnel vision a bit more and say, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks or whatever. I'm going out there to be the best, and that's all that I'm doing. And until I am, I'm not going to say. And the con of that can be becoming, I think, a sort of, like I said, like sometimes those guys become really like trite and hacky and very successful too. Yeah. A lot of the time. But, I don't,
do you think that's because they figure out what works to be the most quote-unquote successful, and they just do it.
There's two kinds of comedians. There's comics that are more concerned with the guys in the back of the room, which are the other comics, and there's comics that are more concerned with the people in the front of the room, which is the audience. I've always been more concerned with the guys in the back of the room.
Yeah.
I want comedians to respect me. And a lot of comedians want that. But a lot of comedians will also will not do that at the expense of the guys in the front liking them. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%.
So, and other guys at all costs will keep going to reach the back of the room. And I'm not saying you're up there going, I just want them to like me. But you're up there doing a thing where you're going, I just want to be my own voice, and I want to be original, and I want to just be, I don't want to do what the other guy is doing, you know, and you get off on that thing, and then that's the road you go down. It's not better or worse. It just is what it is.
I mean, in broad terms, it seems like the person, and you know, it doesn't work for everybody, but in broad terms, the person going for the front of the audience is there to make money and to achieve a certain level of fame. And
some of them, not all of them.
And the person going for the back of the room is probably more concerned with the integrity, feeling like they have a certain integrity.
Some of them, not all of them.
Right.
There are guys that go for the back of the room in the wrong way. And
like I've
probably been guilty of that. I've definitely been guilty of that over the years. Like, you don't do anything perfectly and flawlessly. Mm-hmm. But when you're up there thinking, I want them to think I'm cool or whatever, that's not the right place to be in.
Right.
And just like when you're doing it for the audience and you're pandering, that's not the right place to be in.
So you figure out who you are and stay true to yourself while concentrating in the front row.
Yeah, well, staying true to yourself means you're either going to naturally gravitate towards one or the other.
Right.
And ultimately be effective for both. I find the guys that are true to themselves end up being effective for both parts of the room.
Yeah.
So, you know, you take a guy like Brian Regan, great example, couldn't kill harder with the audience, could not kill harder, has very, very clean, very accessible material, yet is wholly respected by every comedian out there. Mm-hmm. And I'd say you sort of swing the pendulum over to the other side of the tracks or whatever, and the opposite of him, not opposite meaning doesn't do those things, but the other guy is Doug Stanhope. Mm-hmm. Stanhope's a guy where it's completely edgy, it's very dark, and it's not wholly accessible by everybody, yet still embraced by the audience.
Right.
It kills, and still loved by the comedians.
Because if you're good enough and you're true to yourself, you'll get both sides.
Yeah, eventually, Eventually, I think it takes time, but and that's always what I would have hoped for, was like, not always. In the beginning, like I said, I want a comedian. I'm not saying I wanted comedians to respect me, like, that's all I thought about. But if you had asked me what's more important, I would have said comedians respect me.
But that's also probably where your focus is. It's like, do you go home and think about your career, or do you go home and think about what happened at the table at the Comedy Cellar with your peers?
I think about both.
What do you think, starting out, what did you do?
Starting out, I mean, it was a shit show, man.
Yeah.
It was brutal, dude. I mean, that's people. Again, now this is probably amplified because of how sensitive of a guy I am and the type of sensitive I am. Because I think a lot of comedians starting out would probably go out, do the show, and then if it didn't go well, just go, we'll get them next time, kid. Mm-hmm. That's, I think, the athlete mentality. We'll get them next time. Go wash your cleats off.
We got another show tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow. I wouldn't do that. I would drive home and out loud just chastise myself in the car. I'd be alone cursing myself out loud because I was so mortified and embarrassed and disgusted with myself.
So what happens if you start by chastising yourself, and then you get to a place where you're like, okay, I'm going on tomorrow. Let's make this better. And you get there.
I would just get to a point. It was more like a heroin addiction for me, because I would.
Have you ever been on heroin?
No.
So how would you know?
I'm assuming this is a lot like heroin. I'd after the fact go, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And then the next day I'd be looking for more heroin. So it's you're trying to find the show again.
So you'd never get to that good place. You'd just be like, maybe if I go on stage tonight and it works, I'll feel better.
No, it wouldn't be that. I'd forget. It was a very drug addict mentality.
Oh, you'd forget all the painful
There was
stuff.
there was never the part where it would go, remember how you felt last night?
No.
It was like, no, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I'd be very excited to do it again, you know? But that again is a product of a sensitive mind or personality rather, because that's how a sensitive person just wants love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they want love and they want emotional, reassurance and, you know, and all
And
that
a competitive person just wants to win all the time.
Yeah. So a sensitive person says, you know, that's why a lot of sensitive people end up in abusive relationships because they'll say, I just want to be loved. He was nice to me today. It'll be okay today. And they forget, like, oh my God, I was at the lowest point of my life yesterday when he was screaming at me or maybe worse. And then you feel utter euphoria when that same abuser is being loving towards you.
Right.
I've had a lot of emotionally abusive relationships.
You have?
Absolutely.
Huh. And why? Is it just because
I've dated girls that have? I mean, they've legitimately crazy women that are on medicine and stuff.
See, I dated one girl like that once, and it was the first girl I ever dated. After that, it was never again.
I've done it over and over and over. I'm just now. This has been a very progressive year for me in my life, like career-wise and personally. And I'm just now getting to a point in my life where I'm dating healthy women.
Good. And isn't it amazing when you get into a healthy relationship and you realize the level of okayness that can exist? Like, we don't have to fight that hard that often, and we can just be okay right now. And you know, we don't have to have these overriding issues. We're allowed to be happy this often.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's you don't
when that
realize.
reality hits you.
And it's sort of weird, like, too, because you'll date a normal girl and you'll be like, she's kind of boring. And it's like, no, she's not boring. She's not fucking crazy. There's a difference.
Exactly.
You know, she's not stirring the goddamn pot every 10 minutes. But oh my God, I can't even begin with the levels of manipulation I've subjected myself to.
Yeah, because you should be focused elsewhere. You should not be worried about how dramatic your love life is. You're in entertainment, for God's sake. You're trying to make a living in entertainment.
I remember my dear friend Greg Charles,
GC.
Yeah, GC, good friend of Roland's as well. He's a publicist at Caroline's Comedy Club. I remember I was working, this is years and years ago, I was working at the club one weekend, and I was in the green room between shows, and he came in, he goes, Jojo, how's it going, man? And I mean, I looked like I needed to be scraped off the floor.
Joe.
You know, and he goes, what's the matter, man? And he goes, everything's going great, you're doing comedy, you're getting paid. And I was just like, I can't meet a girl. And he goes, Joe, just focus on the career.
Yeah.
Just do that, and the other stuff, the girls, it'll fall in line by itself. It'll take care of itself. And it did.
Yeah, I mean,
it did.
I
Was he drunk at the time?
Was he drunk?
Yeah.
No, but I was.
Okay.
I was shit-faced.
I couldn't believe more strongly that if you have a career that's as up in the air as this is, whether it's comedy or radio or whatever, entertainment,
right,
you need tranquility in your personal life. Mm-hmm. You have to. Well, we're out of time.
Oh, we are?
But I don't want to close your show for you. Because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Let me explain.
Frankly.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you. I'm sorry we didn't get to any callers here.
It's all right. We got to let you die. That's what counts.
You had to call the show because we're in the studio, and that's what you had to do. So, yeah. Sam, Roland, thanks for being here. Do you guys have anything that you want to plug?
I have a podcast.
Plug it.
Called The Sam Roberts Show online. It's at notsam.com.
Okay, great.
And every Wednesday, Suits and the USA Network.
All right. And check out joederosacomedy.com to download this podcast. You can also get it on iTunes and Stitcher. Please subscribe. Please leave a review if you don't mind. We'd appreciate it. And upcoming tour dates, I'll be at Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis in August. And a new album of B-side material coming out September 2nd called Mistakes Were Made. You can pre-order it now. And this is called Down with Joe DeRosa, in case you didn't know.